Hey everybody, good morning. Tuesday, March 17th. Hey, it's St. Patrick's Day. Well, it's not much of a St. Patrick's Day celebration as far as a parade and a party are concerned in Chicago, which is probably the place where that happens the most in this whole country. But as we all know, right now we are in a pretty light lockdown in a way for the coronavirus, COVID-19. So at this time of this message, we are without gigs. Musicians are no longer playing gigs. All schools have been closed. All in Illinois, all restaurants and bars have been closed. The grocery store shelves are empty. People are stockpiling food because we have a pandemic, a worldwide kind of crisis with a medical situation called coronavirus. And people all over the world are getting this disease, and a lot of people are dying. Some countries are getting hit really hard, like Italy. Italy, the entire country right now is on full house quarantine. You cannot leave your house. It's if you're watching this right now, you know that we're in a pretty serious situation. If you're watching this 5 years from now, you may remember this situation. And if you're watching this 10 years from now, you might not have any idea what I'm talking about right now unless you did research on it. But it's an interesting time because right now I'm sitting in my wife's yoga studio, and we've converted it into basically a film studio for her to be able to continue teaching yoga classes online. So, because no one can go, you're not supposed to be in a gym or a yoga studio. All of those things have been shut down right now. So, with the miracle and amazing technology age that we live in, we're able to still broadcast Shayna teaching right here on this mat behind me, and then right behind this camera is another mat, and so she's teaching a class. People are signed on to Zoom. They're watching her and doing the class, and then I'm sitting behind the camera with my yoga mat, and I'm doing yoga too. So in the last 5 days, I've done at least 6 classes, and it's been amazing. I mean, it's been crazy. The amount of yoga that I've done has changed me already. It's remarkable. When I'm in the heat of battle in normal life, I am running from thing to thing. I'm teaching a lot. I'm playing a bunch of gigs. And in any free time I would have, I would be down in my studio, which is downstairs. I know you've seen a video of me in it, but we have all the studio lights up here right now. So I thought that this would be a better place to talk to you. But I would be down there working on DrumMantra stuff and practicing and filming things down there. So I didn't have a whole lot of time for life beyond the blinders of my own experience. And when you're in that mode of your life, it's hard to realize that there's much going on outside of that. Like your blinders are on, you're focused. Your gigs, your teaching schedule, your content creation, your side hustle, your business outside of your actual job. Speaking for myself and maybe some of you, a week ago, I was in a school and there was a thing on the wall that was like facts about coronavirus, and I was doing a little music presentation at an elementary school, and third graders and second graders were doing little book reports on this thing that no one really knew about. And this was a week ago. And then like the next day, things were getting a little weird. The next day, I get a message saying, we're going to limit CPS, Chicago Public School System, has decided that no outside visitors are going to be allowed into the school until April 12th. And this was on March 10th or something that this happened. So all of a sudden it was like, okay, that work is gone. All right, some time's freed up. Still have a gigging schedule though. So I'm thinking, okay, well, we've got the gigs. I need a break from teaching, so this is sort of a welcome break. And then the emails start rolling in. This gig was canceled. This gig was canceled. You're checking social media. Everyone's saying, my gig was canceled. I no longer have any gigs. And as that happened, there's a lot of energy of fear on social media with people, because why not? You're losing your income. You're losing your ability to earn money, provide for your family. And I'm in the same boat. I have a family. I have a house and a mortgage to pay, and a high school age kid and a college age kid. So there's definitely a lot of financial necessity in my experience as well. But we're all in this together. We are all experiencing the exact same thing. No one is working. No one is teaching. We are being encouraged to remain as far away from other humans as possible right now, just to stay safe. So I wanted to just kind of give you, it's 6 o'clock in the morning right now, and I was up at 5, and I never wake up at 5. I'm not a morning person, but I tell you, since I've been doing yoga, I've been having all this energy, and I've been thinking more clearly because I'm not worried about so many other things. And so I want to reflect on the other aspect of this experience, which is kind of the liberation of our minds to be able to open up into the freedom of something new. So as soon as we can get over the fact that this is happening, then we can start to move on and create this experience the way we want it to be for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks. That to me takes the fear. Yes, I know there are going to be people that are going to say, but I've got this mortgage, but I need to have groceries, but my kid is this and this and this and this. Yes, we all have those. We all have a list of things that we can say, this is not good. This is going to really mess my life up and potentially cause a change in the trajectory of my entire life from now on. We can go down that dark hole. But if we can just take a moment and realize that this is what's happening and there's nothing that can be done about it the way that it was. So the life that you were living, that has changed now, at least for a couple weeks. So what are you going to do? Are you going to complain about it, get dark about it, and dwell on it? Or are you going to step into this new experience for the next couple of weeks? Because this is all you have, is right now. And right now, the fact is, you're not playing a gig. You're not teaching a lesson. You're not going to a restaurant and hanging out with your friends. You're not going to a show. You're not going to the library. You're not going anywhere in public. That's a fact. So let's move into embracing this situation in a positive way and becoming inspired, motivated, and driven to see life in a different way. Because I tell you what, I've had this. The reason I'm talking about this is because I got hit really hard with this experience, because my wife and I are always talking about, what if our world was always 100% yoga for her, because she owns a yoga studio and she's a yogi, DrumMantra for me, and all the things that go with that. Creativity, composition. She's a painter. Shane is a painter. So what if our life was teaching yoga, painting, creating DrumMantra stuff, and composing? What would that be like? And of course, it's sort of almost like just a fantasy up until a week ago. And when I started to realize that, when I knew that I wasn't going to be teaching anymore for a while for my artist residency stuff, I needed a break anyway. I was very stressed because there's a lot involved. There's a lot of interaction with kids, and that takes a lot of energy. So when that went away, I just let it go. I wasn't worried about it. I was glad for the break, and I felt myself feel lighter because that was one less thing on my mind that I had to worry about. When the gigs went away, of course it's a bummer to not play gigs, not only for the music aspect, the performance aspect, but the camaraderie with your bandmates. I mean, I miss my bandmates. We've been off for a week and a half now, and some of the bandmates on the last couple of gigs were in Europe doing other gigs. So some of the people that I used to seeing all the time, I haven't seen in weeks. And you get sad. You start to miss those people. But of course, there's a phone, there's the internet, so we're all still connected, just in a different way. We can FaceTime, we can Skype, we can Zoom, we can Google Chat. We can do all these things where we're able to still see each other and communicate. So when the gigs ended, I was just like, there's nothing I can do about it. It's not like I can go try to... It's not like the situation where I had a gig cancel, and this is for you too, and then so you get on and you try to let everyone know, hey, I'm free. You see that a lot of time on Facebook. My gig canceled. I'm free. Let me know if you need a whatever, guitar player or whatever. That's not an option now. So you let that go, and all of a sudden you're even lighter in your brain. There's less holding in. You're not, all of a sudden you're not thinking, okay, I've got to learn 8 songs for this weekend. I've got to prepare for this recording session. I've got to plan out my trip downtown. I've got to make sure I leave 2 hours early. We got to get my Spot Hero parking spot. I need to make sure I pick up my clothes from the dry cleaner. All those things have gone. They're gone. It's not an issue in my mind anymore. And so I'm relaxed. It's crazy. And then as soon as we started to get a sense that people were not going to be congregating anymore, Shane and I spent 18 hours, first of all, disinfecting the yoga studio, cleaning all those yoga bolsters back there. You can kind of see them back there. And all those yoga blocks. And that shelf that's empty had about 20 yoga blankets that are being washed right now. And we scrubbed the floors, and we scrubbed the baseboards and with disinfectant, and we got the whole studio clean. And then we brought the lights up and tried to figure out how to aim these lights and get my lights from my studio. And we've got acoustic blankets on some of the floor here that you can't see to kind of cut down on the echo, the reverb in this room, so when Shane is teaching, you can hear her clearly. And redesigned her website to tell people that right now we're online only, and creating a whole new series of classes. So on the website, and creating a new registration system so people could do this, and then buying a different package for Zoom so we could allow more people to be able to be in a conference call. That was a lot of work, a lot of work. We also built her a website, and she's starting to create course content for herself. So all of a sudden, my mind shifted completely into helping her, completely into not survival mode, but going into this mental energy of like, we're both working on the same thing. We're both working on a common goal, and we really bonded during that situation, because what I was realizing is, even though we see each other a lot, I'm heading to a gig, and if I'm home, I'm working, and she's teaching a class, and I'm too tired to take the class, so I go downstairs and I'm working while she's teaching, and now she's energized from yoga, and I'm tired from staring at a computer, and our relationship was good, but there was just a lot of stuff going on in both of our worlds that sometimes it wasn't lining up. So we were seeing each other and we were hanging out, but my mind was completely on my stuff, and her mind was, she's good about paying attention to my stuff, but I'm pretty one track. But here we are, coming together to build what we needed to do to keep the doors open, even though it's locked. We are able to continue to keep the business running, even though people aren't allowed in here right now. That was a very spirited activity for us, and it kind of got my mind focused on the yoga thing. And here's the crazy thing. Yoga is kind of a magic pill in a way, because I need to be here doing it. I'm doing it every time she teaches a class. I take the class, and I've never taken day after day after day after day of yoga, and it has increased my energy, changed my ability to focus and concentrate, allows me to sleep better at night and not have to sleep for as long. It's really, it's still dark outside. It's crazy. So anyway, I kind of woke up with these 5 ideas for kind of helping get through this situation and kind of opening into a more inspired life in this time. So number one, this is huge. Number one, this is something that you should consider all the time. Right now people are going to the grocery store and they're buying everything they can, dry goods, canned goods, anything that's going to last like it's Armageddon. And yes, it's probably important to have some things that are going to last. But I tell you what you put into your body, as I hold this mushroom coffee up, Four Sigmatic mushroom coffee with oat milk. What you put into your body determines how your body's going to function. It determines how your mind is going to work. And it's so crazy to think that the food that you eat is related to the way that you think. But I'm not going to go too deep into it because I'm not a nutritionist or a food person, but I can just tell you from experience, when I eat healthier, I get more done. When I eat healthier, I think more clearly. When I eat healthier, I'm more focused, I'm more attentive, I'm more able to get out of my mind and stay here in the world. So that's just all I can say about that, is when you eat better, your life will feel better. When you eat junk food and when you eat stuff that's not good for you, you're going to feel sloggy. You're going to feel like you don't want to do anything. You're going to feel like you want to just watch Netflix or something. And when you eat super healthy, I get driven. I want to do things. I want to create. I want to accomplish. I feel good. I want to share with the world. And I absolutely attribute that to food. So I would recommend that at least start your day with something healthy. And what we do every day, we have a Vitamix blender, And every day Shayna makes a juice for us. It's a beet, a lemon, spinach, celery, and then sometimes she'll put some like frozen berries, like blackberry, blueberry, raspberry, just a little bit for the sweetener. A little bit. You don't want it to be super sweet. You just want it to be natural. Beet, lemon, spinach or kale, celery, cilantro. We like to put a little cilantro in there, and some berries of some type. Sometimes we do fresh berries. Sometimes we just get a bag of frozen berries and use a little bit of frozen berries. Blend that up. Sometimes avocado. If I'm lucky, I get some avocado in there. You blend it up, drink it. Nice, 16 ounces or 12 ounces or whatever. And it is a supercharge. It's not like a supercharge from coffee where it's a caffeine pop. It's like this real clean energy that just makes you feel ready and makes you feel focused. So start your day, if you can, with some kind of juice. If you have a blender of any kind, go to the produce section and get organic stuff. Don't buy stuff that's not organic, because there's going to be pesticides in it, and that kind of defeats the cleanliness of something that came out of the earth. So go buy a couple beets, some celery, some spinach, lemon. Lemon's important. The alkaline in lemon is important for your body and your digestion. And then cilantro if you want, and some either fresh berries or frozen berries. And just blend up a smoothie for yourself every morning. Start your day like that. If you're going to eat bread, eat sprouted bread instead of just regular wheat bread. I'm not going to go into a list of foods because, again, I'm not an authority on this. I just can tell you that that's how I start my day, and when I don't start my day that way, I don't feel the same. So I know it works to start your day with a nice, good juice, a multivitamin, stay hydrated. Just be smart about your food. Try not to eat a bunch of food that comes out of a package. Try to eat food that's fresh. Try to limit things that make you feel tired and groggy. Okay? I'm not going to say any more about that because I don't want to start claiming things about food, but I will claim that starting your day with a fresh juice of really good organic fruits and vegetables is a killer way to start your day. Promise you. Shayna also puts bee pollen on the top of ours and grated, I'm not sure where it's from, but some kind of grated cinnamon. We're lucky enough that 2 stores down is the Spice House, which is one of a famous shop in the world for people who really are into spices, and it just happens to be 2 stores over. So we have this amazing place that has, a dozen different kinds of cinnamon. So I'm not sure which cinnamon we have. I never realized until I went over there, there's this whole thing of these cinnamons from all over the world. And you smell the Vietnamese cinnamon, then you smell the cinnamon from Africa, and all the cinnamons from all over the world. And man, some of them are so different smelling. You were like, this is cinnamon? It's crazy. So cinnamon, little bee pollen, local bee pollen, anything that's local to your area will help you with allergies. So if you're eating bee pollen or honey from your local area, that will help cut down any allergies that might come into your system. So you want to have a super healthy, strong immune system. So you're eating healthy, eating vitamins, and staying hydrated. That's a great way to stay healthy, because I know a lot of people right now are kind of having little sniffly colds and starting to feel achy and stuff. And the first thing they think is, oh my gosh, do I have the coronavirus? I have a little dry cough, and my eyes are watering, and my nose is running. Well, it's becoming spring, and there's a lot of stuff in the air. And in Chicago, it's raining one day, it snowed yesterday, things are starting to blossom. So if you're eating healthy and keeping your immune system strong, you should be good. Anyway, you'll have energy, you'll be able to think clearly. So there's number one. Number two, exercise. I am the worst at doing exercise from probably the ninth grade. As soon as I hit the ninth grade, I'm like, I'm going to be a drummer. I'm not going to be an athlete. I decided that I'm not going to go the route of baseball. I played baseball my whole life until ninth grade, and I had to make the decision. Do I want to be on the baseball team or do I want to be in the marching band? And so I knew I wanted to be a musician. I loved baseball at the time. I was really good at it too. And I decided I wanted to be a drummer, and so I went the band route. I only lasted a year in band, and then I realized that the band program was not very good, very strong. So I quit band and just continued to study with private teachers and practiced on my own all the time. But exercise, it became something I did not care anything about. I used to say, my exercise is playing drums. I would go through periods. I always liked to ride my bike, and there were times like throughout high school, later in high school, where I got into mountain biking, and I lived in Colorado for a while, so I got into mountain biking out there, and I always liked to bike, and I liked to throw a frisbee, and I enjoyed taking walks, but I was not ever a guy that would go to the gym and work out or run for a long period of time. I just never was into that. I always thought I need to spend my time practicing. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do something with music. That being said, I'm now married to a master yogi who is a yogi on every level. The way she eats, the way she thinks, the way she interacts with her community, the way she teaches, and of course the practice. Yoga, there's a lot of limbs of yoga. The third limb is the actual physical practice of yoga. The other ones are more mental, community-based mental things, the 8 limbs of yoga. I'm not going to go into that. Just going to say that's doing yoga as a practice on a mat is just the third limb of yoga. It's called the asana, or the practice. So I'm kind of, by default, I own a yoga studio, so it's kind of important for me to Shayna owns the yoga studio, but it's important for me to kind of do it. And so I've decided to do it. And I've done it throughout the years, once, twice, maybe 3 times a week. Every time I do it, I go down to the studio and I record myself, and Shayna watches a video and she says, "Man, you sound so much different after you've done a yoga class. You sound stronger, you sound more focused, you sound more deliberate, you look more balanced when I'm sitting behind the kit." Every single time. And if I go a stretch without doing yoga, I'm tired, I'm staring at the computer all the time, my playing is a little more loose. And then I do a yoga class, I go down to the studio, my time is solid, I'm playing with a lot of authority and conviction. It's absolutely related. It's not a coincidence. I do yoga, I feel better. I do yoga, I think more clearly. I do yoga, I play better. I do yoga, I create more. I'm more creative. I'm more efficient. I'm more focused. So I am a 100% believer that yoga, and it's not impactful. You're not lifting weights and forcing things and working. You're allowing your body to relax. You're building strength through poses that are thousands of years old and thousands of years tested. And these things are created not to be buff out or become, get your beach body on. Yoga is all about tuning your body and your mind to become more of a single unit in a way, where you're able to focus on the present moment better, because you're really focusing on your entire body. How do you relax your body? How do you hold strength in certain areas but not tense up in certain areas? So it's you are your mind and your body. Those are the things that you have control over. So why not, really dive in and become in control? If you're a drummer, you're already interested in learning how to control your body, learning how to control all four limbs at the same time, learning how to move your arms, think about this. You're putting pieces of wood in your hands, and you're swinging your arms at round things in a way that moves someone else emotionally, in a way that makes people want to dance, in a way that helps someone else transcend their own experience, just by swinging your arms in a coordinated way. That's pretty crazy. So we become masters of our body when we're playing an instrument, any instrument. You're learning how to move your body in a way on some foreign thing that we've invented, and it is powerful enough to inspire and change another person's point of view, makes them want to dance, makes them feel good, puts them in different states of mind, inspires them. So why not continue that body mastery, that learning how to control and understand everything about what your body is doing and can do? Yoga. No contest again with anything else. It's fully there. So eating healthy and exercising, I can't believe I'm saying this. 20-year-old me would be laughing at me right now. So if you're 20, you're probably laughing at me too. Trust me, 45-year-old you will be telling 20-year-old you, I told you so. So time is a weird thing, and experience is a weird thing. But if you feel like you want to trust me, I think you can. Okay, number 3, keep your mind sharp. Keep your mind sharp. This is true all the time, but it gets hard because when we're in our daily routine, it's hard to remember to stay sharp because we're so, okay, I'm doing this now. Especially musicians. I mean, we're running like crazy all the time. I'm playing this gig, and then I've got to go teach this lesson, and then I've got to get over here to do this recording session, then I've got to get here to write this thing, and then I've got to jingle, and then I've got to do that. It's like go, shifting your concentration and your thinking all day long. And by the end of the day, you're just, you're either dead or you can't think or you can't interact when you get home. And it's time to say, how was your day? And you're like, what? I can't even tell you because I'm too tired or I've done too many things. I can't even remember what I did. So keeping your mind sharp right now, especially, you've got 2 to 3 to 4, maybe even 5 weeks of nothing but eating healthy, getting exercise, keeping your mind sharp. How do you keep your mind sharp? Well, I can tell you one way that you can keep your mind from not getting sharp: staring at the news. The loop of the news. Questlove just posted something on Instagram the other day talking about a study, an actual scientific study of what happens when someone is exposed to a loop of information. And they're talking about, and he was talking about a person who was born around the time of 9/11, and the new parents had the news on over and over and over while they had this young baby. That young baby grew up with some kind of traumatic stress brain, psychological thing, and they traced it to the fact that she was being introduced to this news loop of the gloom and doom. Whatever you pay attention to is what your experience is going to be. And a lot of stuff has come out about this. Things that people say, oh, that's like a movie like The Secret comes out. And everyone's like, man, that's crazy. Maybe so, but I tell you this, whatever you concentrate is what your life will feel like. Whatever you spend your time looking at and thinking about is going to inform the way that you live. How did you get to become such a great musician? Not by watching baseball all day long. You became a great musician because all you thought about was music. You listened to all the records that you knew were important to listen to. You practiced all the things that your teacher told you to practice. You spent all your time analyzing and thinking about and practicing getting good at your instrument. Your attention was in the world that was related to the activity that you were doing the most. So, that's a positive aspect of how your mind and what your concentration and focus and attention on builds the world that you're experiencing. The same is true on the, quote, negative side, where you're watching a news loop over and over. The gloom and doom of what's going on, that starts to seep into your mind. It might seep into your mind so much that you decide that you're going to go to social media and start typing and talking about the gloom and doom. You're in a loop. You're stuck in a loop. So, news, watching Netflix. You know, you see all the time, hey, I need a new, this, I'm sorry, no judgment on anyone here, but when I see someone post on Facebook, I need a new show to binge watch, I'm thinking, what? Why? What do you... I don't understand it. I mean, yes, I've watched all the Star Trek, but for me, and the joke is with my wife, when I say, do you want to binge watch? I say, you want to binge watch an episode of Star Trek? And that means we're going to actually watch the entire episode in one sitting. Very rare for me. It usually takes me 3 sittings to get through one episode of any show, because I only have about a 20-minute attention span, but after about 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, I'm spending a lot of time focusing on something that someone else did, and this is doing nothing for me except letting me check out and just stare at something that's well done and interesting, but it has nothing to do with my life. It's something that I'm escaping into, and I keep thinking, I don't need an escape. I need the ability to concentrate better on the things that I want to create myself. You know, Star Wars didn't just appear. George Lucas had to have the vision. You know, Steven Spielberg had to have the vision. People who create have to work really hard at creating something. I mean, movies don't just happen to appear. So when I watch a movie, I always think, man, how long did it take to film this? How many people did it take to make this thing? I start to analyze all the things that go into actually making the movie, and then it's not like I get sucked into the storyline or anything. I always see things from that perspective. So if you want to get anything done in your life, stop watching a bunch of television shows or movies and stuff, unless what you're interested in is making movies. If you're into movies and that's what you want to do, or maybe you're justifying watching the movie because you want to study film scoring. I'm not totally convinced that you're able to justify that, though, because if you're really into film scoring, you're going to be doing some different things than spending your time watching a bunch of movies. Yeah, it's important to study the film score people, but we can justify a lot, but we can waste a lot of time when you're staring at a screen, checked out, and we justify it. I need a break. I need a break from my life. Why do you need a break from your life? Think about that. Why do you need a break from your life? Because you're doing something that you don't want to be doing? Probably. Well, guess what? There's a good chance that you're not doing that right now. You're not doing the thing that you don't like to do. You probably are not working, especially if you're a musician. And if you do 2 things in your life, if you play gigs and you teach music, which is mainly the audience that watches me talk, you're not doing anything right now. What do you need to break from? Nothing. Get focused on something that's going to do good for you. Don't sit around and stare at TV and eat junk food. Now's your chance. This is this is a gift. I know I'm not trying to say that this is a good thing. It's not. I mean, this situation that we're in, the entire globe, the entire earth, the only planet that has living things on it, is being threatened right now by a disease. That is not good. I'm not saying that that's a gift. I am saying that you now have an opportunity to investigate who you want to be. There's a good chance that you have every moment free right now to do anything that you want. So, figure that out and be that and do that. And the best way to be that and do that is to eat healthy, exercise, keep your mind clear. Focus on the things that are really important to you. Okay. Number 4, practice and study. You have to have something to work on. Now, if you're an advanced musician, if you've had experience teaching, if you've been playing for a really long time, then you know how to teach yourself. Okay? You get to a point in your musical abilities where you can create things that you can't do. That's fascinating to me. That's a whole other podcast and talk. We are able to actually create things that we can't do. And then you sit down and you learn how to do them. That's amazing. It's amazing. So if you're at that point, if you're at that stage, create something for yourself and then learn how to do it. You're going to get better. If you aren't at that stage, or if you're at that stage and you want some inspiration from an external source, I highly recommend, well, right now you're probably not going to be able to work with an actual person-to-person teacher, but you could do a Skype lesson with a master drummer. You could take a lesson from anybody in the world. You could take a Skype lesson from Dave Weckl. You could take a Skype lesson from Dan Weiss, Ari Honig. You could take a Skype lesson from Steve Lyman. You could take a Skype lesson from some of the greatest drummers alive right now. You could take a Skype lesson from Benny Greb, probably. So seek one of these people out. You could take a Skype lesson from me. You could take I don't think Ed Soph supports Skype lessons or video lessons, but you could maybe take a lesson with Ed. Pete Magadini. There's some great Chicago drum educators. Tom Hipskind, Dana Hall, John Deidemeyer, on and on and on. I mean, there are amazing drummers all over the country and all over the world. So anyone that inspires you and makes you excited about playing, reach out to them right now during this period and say, hey, I'd like to do a Skype lesson. My email box is full of people that want to take lessons online right now with me. And maybe it's because everyone knows that everyone's free. And a lot of times I have to tell people, I'm so sorry, but I'm not able to do private one-on-one lessons. But you can take lessons through my membership site, DrumMantra.com, where there's 50 hours of exercises that I've created and a community where I'm able to interact with people. I've got to spend my time taking care of the people who are members of my site. And the same is true with any online education site. I mean, you've got the big mega super center like Drumeo, where you could take little lessons from all kinds of hundreds and hundreds of drummers that have lessons on Drumeo. You could go more boutique with Mike Johnston's lessons, Mike'sLessons.com. You could go, Mike has all kinds of stuff in his lesson area, different grooves, different fill ideas. Of course you know who Mike is because you've seen him on social media. You could go to Steven's Drum Shed and do his thing, or the Orlando Drummer, or you could go to Patreon and do Dan Weiss's Patreon or Ari Honig's Patreon, or you could do Blair Sinta's Patreon. He talks about recording techniques. So there are a lot of great places for you to get education. And you don't have to choose just one. I mean, when you go to school, you don't take all your classes from one teacher. You go to the person who's really good at business to take that class. And then you go to this class to take, your music lessons and play in your band. And you go to this place for your English teacher. So you can go to different places to make you a more well-rounded person. All of these little drum website lesson places are unique to that individual. So if you're going to go to mikeslessons.com, you're going to get Mike. You're going to get all the awesome stuff that he does, the awesome way that he presents, the awesome way that he plays, his personality. That's what you're going to get with Mike. Yes, you're going to learn how to play this groove, and yes, you're going to learn how to play these ideas. But the main thing is you're engaging with someone because of who they are. So you may be attracted to Dan Weiss's personality, and so you're going to dive into Dan's thing. Or you may love the way that Blair talks about recording techniques, so you're going to dive into his thing, sticks and wires. You may like the way that I do things, so you come over to DrumMantra because you're interested in the mental aspects of drumming, because that's the main thing about what I do is combining drum exercises with the concepts of meditation and concentration, and all my books and all my courses have to do with training the whole body and mind. So maybe that's what you're interested in too. So maybe you sign up for Mike's lessons and you sign up for Dan Weiss's lessons. Maybe you sign up for Drumeo and you sign up for DrumMantra. So whatever it is, do something. Pick something that makes sense to you, something that resonates with you. And usually, I love Jared. Jared and I have had some great talks. He's the owner and founder of Drumeo. He's a great human, super smart person. You're not going to interact with him very much, but he's created quite an empire up in Canada. Mike Johnston, he's a amazing human. We got to know each other at NAMM, and he is one of the most driven, energetic, focused, alive people I've ever met. He's a great person to interact with. Dan Weiss is a genius. It's crazy the way he thinks and what he does. Ari Honig is a genius, freak of nature. There's so many people, so pick your people, pick a couple. Not only are you getting access to somebody, but you're also supporting that artist in this new era of how we educate people. So when you support Dan Weiss's Patreon, you're helping him support his family. You're learning a lot, and he's giving you a lot, and you're giving him. It's a lot cheaper to support someone through an online lesson place than it is to take a one-on-one lesson. It's probably about a 1 hour lesson can be anywhere from $60 to $120, and any of these membership sites are $30 a month. For access to everything, it's a no-brainer. You should be a member of at least 2 membership sites. 3. If you're really serious and you're ready to practice, find the people that you resonate with, join their sites, and spend time working on their stuff. These people have not, me included, I haven't spent hundreds and hundreds of hours creating content that I believe in and building a brand for fun. I've been working hard on it for a decade. Creating books that make sense, that all go in a system. Creating courses that take you from A to Z in a system. Creating lessons that do certain things to your body, do certain things to your mind. That's my thing. That's what I've concentrated on. So anyone that's built these sites and they're built up and they're real, they're legit. Every single one of them is legit. So make sure that you think about that when you're looking for something. Join a couple. If you're spending say you're spending $75 a week on a lesson. Say you take 2 lessons a month. You're spending $150 on a private lesson with a teacher in your town. Now, if you're not in LA, New York, Chicago, Dallas, Atlanta, any major city, your teacher is probably limited on what they can teach you. But you can tap into anybody in the world who has dedicated their entire lives to performing and educating. You could be a member of 5 different membership sites. 5 different sites for the same price as 2 lessons a month. 2 private lessons a month is $150. 5 membership sites is $150. You could be a member of Drumeo, Mike's Lessons, Steve's Drum Shed, Dan Weiss's Patreon, and DrumMantra for the same price as 2 private lessons a month. Find something to study. Mark Walker, my gosh, I can't believe I didn't mention him. His educational website, it's crazy. I mean, Mark Walker's one of the best drummers in the world. He plays with everyone. I mean, Mark and I have become great friends, and it's crazy because he'll send me a text where he's like, hey, I just subbed for Antonio Sanchez, or yeah, I'm doing this tour. Weckl did it last time, now I'm doing it. Or hey, I just subbed for Dennis Chambers. It's like, what? Mark Walker is one of the heaviest guys on the planet, and he has an amazing amount of stuff on his educational website. Support these artists and learn from the best. Do it. I'm serious. It's the way of the future. You're going to connect into some of the best players in the world, and you're going to have access to all of the things that they've invented. So, number 4, practicing and studying, finding those teachers, joining these membership sites. Join 5 membership sites, $150 a month. That's the price of 2 lessons a month, 2 $75 lessons a month. I don't know anyone that teaches a $75 lesson. So, I mean, I don't know what to say. If you're going to take private lessons from a really good teacher, you're going to be spending $100 to $150 an hour with them and more. If you're going to take a private lesson from someone like Dave Weckl, you're going to be spending some money. It's going to be worth every penny because he's one of the best drummers that's ever lived, but you're going to be spending some money. But you could join Dave Weckl's membership site, $30 a month. Join these sites, support these artists, and diversify your portfolio of education. I highly recommend it. Okay, number 5. Create. You must figure out something to do that puts you in a creative mode. Create something. Draw, write music, compose something, write lyrics. Do something that's creative. I'm always telling my daughter, I say, every time you're about to make a decision, like if you're at the mall or something, or whatever in life, always ask yourself, am I being a creator or am I being a consumer? Am I a creator or am I a consumer? Now, we have to go back and forth between both things. When you go to the grocery store, you're a consumer. When you go to Tackle Instrument Supply and you're falling in love with all the things that Scott McPherson is making, you're a consumer, but you're also supporting an amazing person. I love Scott McPherson. Tackle Instrument Supply Company, go get stuff from any independent drum builder or drum supply company. Support these people. Scott McPherson at Tackle, Chris at Big Fat Snare Drum, who else? Now I'm going to get in trouble because I've got to think of all these names. Oh gosh. I'm sorry, I'm blanking out now. A&F. Low Boy Beaters. Who else? There's so many. Snareway. There's all these cool things. Anyway, I digress. I'm really into, and I think this is an amazing opportunity and time that we live in to support people who are creating. Support people who create things, especially if they're creating awesome things that you can use. Get that stuff. ProLogic's practice pads. Remember, these companies that you think are like these no-name companies that just exist, and you go to Sweetwater online and buy something, these are people who are making stuff. I mean, Jason at ProLogic's, he started off by just carrying a pad under his arm and going and saying, check out this practice pad. And then making pads from his garage and eventually having a little shop. And, Adrian Kirchler, who lives up in the mountains of Switzerland and makes some of the finest drums known to man by himself in his little shop, all by hand. AK Drums, Adrian Kirchler. Check him out. He's crazy talented. Of course, the guys at A&F, Craviato, all these amazing people, they're creating things. They're creators. Be a creator. Doesn't matter if you're trying to create a product. You don't have to create a product. Just create. Spend time making something up. Spend time doing something that doesn't, creating something that doesn't exist. Draw pictures. Think creatively. When you think creatively, it spills into all aspects of your life. If you're doodling, it's gonna affect the way you play drums. If you decide that you want to write a blog, you're writing every day, you're getting your thoughts out. That's creating. Create. Now, when I say create, this is not a business tactic. A lot of times in this modern day and age, and this is a different conversation as well, but when we're talking about building a brand and building a brand, there's different ways of there's different techniques, and a lot of times they say, there's the create method, and then there's the document method. So are you creating or are you documenting? That's a different conversation. But what I'm telling you is, you as a person, be creative, do something creative, think creatively, look at the world in a creative way. Don't just accept the world as it is. Look at it and think about it in a creative way. When you look at architecture, think about the architect. Think about, when you look at a building, think about the building. Look at the angles. Look at the materials that made that building. Think in a creative way. Don't take stuff for granted. How can this be? Go to Home Depot, not right now, and walk around and look at stuff and think. And when I go to Home Depot, if I'm not there for a reason, if I'm not there for I've got to get this to fix that, you can walk around that place and you're like, what can I make with that? And then you think of someone like Blue Man Group. They took all those PVC pipes and turned it into a Broadway show. They've done a lot more, but create. Think creatively, be creative, do creative things. That's why we're on this planet, to create. Create stuff, make stuff, share your creations, or don't share them, but do it for yourself. Okay, so those are the 5 things that I think are going to really give you a good, strong, vibrant experience in life, but especially right now while you're stuck not doing anything. You're not playing gigs, you're not teaching, you're not going out hanging out with all your friends. You've got a lot of time, and so you're going to eat healthy, number 1. Number 2, you're going to exercise. By the way, you can go to centralstreetyoga.com and register for an online class and take a class with Shayna. She's a master yogi. She will do you right. Join us. I'm there every day. Turn it on. All the people that are taking the class, we come on, we say hi to everybody. We do the class, we come back on at the end and say, how's it going? Anyone have any reflections? centralstreetyoga.com, the schedule's on there. Join her for a class. I'll be there as well. That would be a great way to put some exercise into your day. Number 3, keep your mind sharp. Don't bog it down with a bunch of stuff that you're consuming, a bunch of movies and Netflix shows and news and stuff. Keep your mind clean. Even music. Don't saturate yourself so much with music that you can't do anything else. Just keep yourself sharp. Read books that are meaningful, that help you learn. Do things that are going to make you learn, but not stuff. Don't fill your stuff that's going to change your emotional state into anything that makes you feel negatively towards anything. Because negativity will bring everything down. It'll shut everything down. You might as well eat junk food and lay around on the couch all day. Negativity is the same thing. Okay, number 4, practice and study. Find those teachers. Find those online teachers. Think about the financial comparison of a private lesson versus an online lesson. And then diversify your portfolio of things that you're going to learn from a few different places. Try it. I think it'll be very beneficial. Number 5, create. Always try to be creative. Create on the drums, create on paper, create on a blog, whatever it is, try to be creative in your day. And here's a bonus, number 6, build a community. This is a little bit more business oriented way, but it doesn't have to be business oriented. It's your own personal community. Who are your friends? Who are the people that really have the same interests as you? Right now, in this day and age, you can create a Facebook page that can be about anything that you like. So if you're not part of any communities, if you feel like you would wish there was a community about X, Y, and Z and it doesn't exist, well, guess what? You get to create it. Create something that brings a community together of like-minded people who are interested in the same things. This world has more people than you could ever imagine, and you could build a community of 100 people who are exactly interested in the same things you are in a month. If you made a page and started populating it with your ideas and sharing things that are related to the things that you're interested in, you're going to start to attract people in to your community that are into the same things. And now you've built your own world. And now you're experiencing life exactly the way that you want to experience it. You're around people that have the same goals and the same creative interests and the same outlook on life. This is a positive thing. This is a negative thing. Shakespeare said, there's nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So someone might have a community of people who are doing negative things, who maybe hate certain things. I'm not talking about that kind of community. I'm talking about finding people who are interested in the same music that you like, interested in creating something, interested in discussing things that challenge the mind or whatever, but you can build a community. Build a community because that gives you a sense of belonging. It gives you a sense of camaraderie. And then when you hit a time like we're in right now, where all of us are basically quarantined in real life, you've got your community. You've got your people who are there. You've got your people who know you and who know each other. It's a virtual world that we're living in. And the sooner that you embrace that as one of the aspects of life, the better off you're going to be. We're only going to go backwards if something major goes down. And that will be a whole different situation. And that will be more probably like survival mode. But right now, we all have internet. We all have phones that can, right now I'm filming this with my phone. It's not a $25,000 movie camera. This isn't it would cost $250,000 to do this 20 years ago. Now I just have to turn my phone on and turn some lights on, and here we go. So take advantage of what's going on in this world and utilize the tools that you have to your benefit. Use it to make the world a better place by being creative, by thinking positively, by being healthy and being proactive and inspiring others to do the same. Okay, so those are my 5 tips with a bonus tip. I hope you do great. I hope you have an awesome day, awesome week. I'm wishing you the best. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm on Instagram at DrumMantra. I'm on Instagram at Rich Stitzel Music. I'm also on Facebook for both places. And please come visit me at DrumMantra.com. I have a free masterclass right now where you can take a lesson with a bunch of different aspects that I think are going to make you a better drummer right away. And then I have a couple courses that are available. I'm doing a special on my PDF books right now since I'm not mailing anything. So come on over to DrumMantra.com and check some stuff out. Join us in the membership, the Lesson Vault. There's a community, there's lessons, there's interaction. It's a great experience. I would love to have you over there as well if you're ready to get serious about your drumming. And I have nothing but time right now, so I'm going to be adding more lessons. I'm taking requests from the members to make lessons that are basically a private lesson for them, but everyone in the community gets to experience that lesson. In fact, I'm about to go create a lesson for a student who lives in France. And we had a little face-to-face Skype call. He told me the things he wants to work on. I made notes, and I'm going to go create a lesson for him and everyone at DrumMantra.com. So that's how I do things. I try to interact with my members, find out what it is that they want to work on, and then I create a lesson and I post it up in the membership area for them to share and work on and discuss those things together. So I would love to have you be part of the Drum Mantra world. We're growing it, and it's a lot of fun. I'm trying to grow that community. So I'm trying to walk the walk and walk the talk. And as always, I really appreciate your support in everything that I'm doing. I do not take it lightly. It helps me get through my day. It inspires me to do this. So I really appreciate it. Wishing you all the best. Until next time, take care.